Prior to diving into this video, we kindly invite you to show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Let us now plunge into the narrative. Charlotte inhabited a world that appeared to be the epitome of a dream life. She lived in an expansive estate, encircled by meticulously tended gardens, a stunning emblem of wealth. Emma, her husband, was a prosperous businessman who ensured that their family wanted for nothing, offering financial security, an opulent lifestyle, and a magnificent home for their 13-year-old daughter, Emily. Yet, Sophia sensed she was confined within a gilded prison. Ethan's professional pursuits devoured his hours, allowing scant opportunity for genuine emotional bonds. Their union had transformed into a mere exchange, a collaboration of duties stripped of affection. Sophia yearned for fervor, for a presence that would see her as Ethan once had. Emily, a spirited and inquisitive young girl, cherished her mother deeply, yet she could perceive the subtle waves of discontent beneath the surface. She devoted countless hours to the garden, a vibrant sanctuary that flourished in sharp contrast to the frigid ambience that enveloped their home. On a sun-drenched summer morning, a fresh gardener made his entrance, Liam. With a stature that commanded attention and a rugged allure, his piercing green eyes held a depth that set him apart from anyone Sophia had ever encountered. He exuded an enigmatic aura, his demeanor emanating assurance devoid of hubris. As Sophia observed him meticulously trimming the hedges for the first time, an intriguing tranquility in his demeanor captivated her attention. With Daniel's arrival, the estate was instantly infused with a vibrant energy. Under his attentive care, the garden, once neglected by its previous steward, began to thrive and blossom anew. Sophia crafted reasons to linger outdoors, keenly watching his efforts unfold. His words about plants, laced with reverence and care, captivated her attention. His voice flowed gently, a sharp departure from Ethan's terse speech and relentless focus on his tasks. As Sophia strolled through the garden, a book cradled in her hands, Daniel knelt nearby, diligently planting roses. He lifted his gaze and smiled, his face shimmering in the sunlight. "You're the reason this garden looks alive again," Sophia said, her voice imbued with a warmth she hadn't experienced in years. "The garden is teeming with life," Daniel responded. "Merely assist it on its journey." Their dialogue began with a light-hearted tone, yet it quickly evolved into a deeper exchange. Sophia discovered she was revealing her frustrations, the solitude, the void that lingered in her marriage. Daniel absorbed every word, his eyes reflecting a calm and empathetic presence. At times, he remarked, "One must release what stifles them in order to genuinely flourish." His words resonated deeply, stirring emotions within Sophia that she believed had long since faded away. On that restless night, Sophia found herself unable to drift into slumber. Echoes of her conversation with Daniel lingered in her thoughts. She reassured herself that it was merely innocent banter, yet beneath the surface, she sensed a deeper truth. She felt an irresistible pull towards him, a sensation that both frightened and thrilled her. As the days slipped into weeks, Sophia found herself engaging with Daniel more often. As he toiled away, she would present him with lemonade, their fingers grazing lightly in the exchange of the glass. Every touch hung in the air for a moment too long. Every glance held a weight of unvoiced tension. Yet, guilt relentlessly gnawed at her. She held the roles of both a wife and a mother. How could she allow herself to succumb to the charms of the gardener? Yet, each time she attempted to distance herself, Daniel's presence drew her back with an irresistible force. On a gentle afternoon, as a light drizzle fell from the sky, Daniel tended to the rose bushes, his hands deftly pruning the delicate blooms, while Sophia observed from the shelter of the veranda. Emily found herself at a friend's abode, while Ethan was off on a business journey. The estate was enveloped in an unsettling silence, broken only by the rhythmic patter of rain and the sporadic snip of Daniel's shears. Sophia emerged, umbrella in hand, making her way toward him. "You'll catch a cold working in this weather," she remarked. He faced her, his emerald gaze intertwining with hers. "The rain holds no sway over my spirit. Moreover, the roses flourish within it." Sophia chuckled gently, and for a fleeting instant they remained there in the rain, their faces mere inches apart. "I should go inside," she said, yet her feet remained rooted to the spot. Daniel extended his hand, his fingertips gently caressing her cheek. "You deserve to feel alive, Sophia," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. Before she could rein in her impulses, she leaned in, their lips colliding in a kiss that was at once tender and charged with electricity. The rain cascaded around them, creating a moment where time felt suspended. As the kiss faded, the weight of reality descended upon them. Sophia recoiled slightly, her hand instinctively rising to her lips. "I am unable to do that." "I'm sorry," she murmured, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Daniel inclined his head, his face a mask of inscrutability. "I understand," he said, yet his eyes revealed a contrasting narrative filled with yearning and a subtle resolve. Sophia rushed back to the house, her heart pounding in her chest. She reassured herself that it was an error, that such a thing could never occur again, yet beneath the surface she understood that the boundary had been irrevocably breached. Little did Sophia know, a witness had observed the kiss. A silhouette lingered in the dim recesses of the guest house, a presence destined to become crucial in the unfolding of events to come. Though Sophia endeavored to forge ahead, feigning indifference, the lingering memory of Daniel's touch clung to her like a shadow. Their encounters became charged with an unspoken intensity, each meeting thickening the atmosphere around them. As Ethan made his way back from his journey, he remained blissfully unaware of the tempest gathering among his family. Yet, fissures in the veneer started to emerge. A neglected scarf abandoned in the garden. A lingering gaze exchanged between Sophia and Daniel. Subtle hints that Ethan, despite his preoccupations, may soon become aware of. Following their clandestine kiss amidst the rain, Sophia endeavored to maintain her distance from Daniel, yet her determination wavered with each encounter. The garden transformed into her refuge, yet it also emerged as her most alluring temptation. She discovered that she wandered among the roses with increasing frequency, crafting justifications to engage in conversation with Daniel despite the awareness of its impropriety. Daniel found himself in a state of inner turmoil. He found himself captivated by Sophia's grace and warmth, yet he was acutely aware of the peril that accompanied their deepening bond. Yet his emotions for her were unmistakable, and with each glance, each touch, a flame was kindled that neither could douse. One afternoon, Sophia strolled into the garden, ostensibly to tend to Emily's cherished blooms. Daniel toiled in the greenhouse, the warm, humid air enveloping him like a second skin. As she entered, the fabric of her dress whispered against the foliage. "You shouldn't be here," Daniel said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I know," she replied, her voice quivering. "Yet I find myself unable to resist the pull." He edged nearer, his hands quivering as he extended them toward hers. "I find myself in the same predicament." They kissed again, a surge of emotion passing between them, powerful yet restrained. The realm beyond the greenhouse faded into oblivion as they allowed themselves a fleeting moment of connection, no longer hiding what they felt. Yet, the moment was ephemeral, and as they separated, the weight of reality descended upon them once more. With each day that unfolded, Sophia found her guilt intensifying, yet concurrently her love for Daniel blossomed. She embarked on a dual existence, one as the devoted wife and mother, the other as a woman engulfed by hidden emotions. Emily began to observe her mother's preoccupied demeanor. "Mom, you've been in the garden a lot lately," she said one evening, her innocent eyes brimming with curiosity. Sophia managed a smile, though it felt strained. "Are you simply reveling in the beauty of the flowers, my dear?" Yet Emily remained unconvinced. She started to observe more intently, her keen young mind noticing the delicate shifts, such as the way her mother's face brightened when she gazed out the window at Daniel. Ethan, as well, started to perceive that something was amiss. Despite his frequent preoccupations with work, he found it increasingly difficult to overlook the widening chasm between himself and Sophia. One evening, as they nestled beneath the covers, he made an attempt to extend his hand. "Sophia," he murmured gently, "is everything all right? It seems you have been changed recently." She faced him, mustering a smile that was meant to convey reassurance. "I'm doing well, Ethan. Simply weary?" Yet Ethan remained unconvinced. He began to observe more intently, his doubts subtly intensifying. Sophia and Daniel's bond grew stronger, leading them to private meetings. In the secluded guest house, they would seize fleeting moments, their desire igniting with every illicit caress. As twilight descended, casting a warm glow across the landscape, Daniel presented Sophia with a delicate bouquet of wildflowers, lovingly gathered by his own hands. "For you," he murmured, his voice brimming with warmth. Sophia accepted the flowers, her heart brimming with emotion. "No one's ever given me wildflowers before," she said, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "They brought you to mind," Daniel remarked, lovely yet unbound. Their connection deepened quietly, each encounter treading a finer line between right and wrong. Yet, as their bond deepened, the threat of discovery cast an ever-growing shadow over them. Ethan started to observe discrepancies in Sophia's demeanor. She devoted increasing hours to the garden, her phone perpetually within reach, and an air of unusual secrecy enveloped her. On a particular evening, he caught wind of a dialogue unfolding between Sophia and Daniel. While the words themselves carried an air of innocence, the tone conveyed a starkly different sentiment. Ethan's doubts grew more pronounced, compelling him to delve deeper into the mystery at hand. He inquired of the housekeeper regarding Sophia's pursuits, and while her words were few, the pause in her response conveyed a wealth of meaning. Ethan started to scrutinize phone records and even contemplated enlisting the services of a private investigator. One evening, as Sophia ventured out, Ethan stumbled upon a scarf in the guest house. It belonged to Sophia, a token of affection he had bestowed upon her to commemorate their anniversary. He gripped it tightly in his hands, his thoughts swirling with uncertainty and inquiries. In the meantime, Emily's insatiable curiosity guided her to a pivotal moment that would alter the course of her life forever. One afternoon, as she frolicked close to the greenhouse, her gaze fell upon her mother and Daniel, their figures framed by the glass. They stood on the precipice of intimacy. Excessively near. Emily found herself grappling with the unsettling images that lingered in her mind, an instinctive awareness whispering that something was amiss. Overwhelmed by confusion and fear, she resolved to remain silent. Yet, the recollection of that instant lingered within her. A persistent question that lingered in her mind. As the affair between Sophia and Daniel deepened, their caution began to wane. On a night spent in the guest house, their gathering was suddenly disrupted by the unmistakable sound of a car making its way up the driveway. "It's Ethan," Sophia whispered, her eyes wide with panic. With a swift motion, Daniel slipped out the back, vanishing into the enveloping shadows. Sophia steadied herself and made her way back to the main house, yet the nagging sensation that their secret was slipping away lingered in her mind. Ethan, his suspicions heightened, started to assemble the fragments of the puzzle before him. The neglected scarf, the enigmatic exchanges, and Sophia's increasing detachment all led to a singular realization. Positioning of components. Ethan stands before Sophia, the scarf he discovered in the guest house clutched tightly in his hand. "Is there something you wish to share with me?" he inquires, his tone unwavering and frigid. Sophia stands still, her thoughts swirling in a tempest. She senses the impending revelation of the truth, yet remains oblivious to Ethan's potential response and the lengths he might traverse to unveil the treachery. Sophia stood motionless as Ethan brandished the scarf, his gaze a haunting blend of fury and sorrow. The atmosphere in the room was thick with an oppressive silence. "Is there something you wish to share with me?" Ethan reiterated, his tone more composed than Sophia had anticipated. Despite the tension evident in his clenched fists, Sophia found herself hesitating, her thoughts racing in search of an explanation. "It's merely a scarf, Ethan. I must have forgotten it in the guest house while I was tending to Emily's belongings." Yet Ethan remained unconvinced by her words. He moved in, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. "I sense that something is amiss, Sophia. You have changed, and I refuse to be a fool within my own walls." Just as Sophia was about to reply, Emily entered the room, her unassuming presence slicing through the palpable tension. "What is happening?" she inquired, her large eyes flitting anxiously between her parents. Ethan mustered a smile and playfully tousled Emily's hair. "Nothing at all, my dear." A brief exchange among adults. Sophia grasped the moment to ease the tension in the air. "Ethan is indeed correct, Emily. All is well. Why not take a moment to complete your homework?" With a heavy heart, Emily exited the room, yet an unsettling sense of dread clung to her, whispering that something was profoundly amiss. Ethan delved deeper, observing Sophia with keen attention to every detail of her actions. He increasingly took leave from work, feigning busyness in his office while covertly keeping an eye on her. Sophia, acutely aware of his mounting suspicion, found herself spiraling into a deeper state of paranoia. She began to distance herself from Daniel even as her heart throbbed with unfulfilled desire. Daniel, in that moment, sensed the gravity of the circumstances surrounding him. He yearned to shield Sophia, yet he was acutely aware that their liaison could not persist without repercussions. As dusk settled, he penned a note for her, leaving it nestled among the plants in the greenhouse. "It is essential that we have a conversation. Let us gather tomorrow once the sun has dipped below the horizon." Sophia discovered the note and her heart soared with excitement. In spite of the dangers, she found herself irresistibly drawn to Daniel. Emily, burdened by the haunting images from the greenhouse, started to connect the dots. She observed how her mother's face brightened in Daniel's presence while her father's demeanor grew more irritable and withdrawn. On a quiet afternoon, as Sophia ventured out, Emily took the opportunity to share her thoughts with her father. "Father," she started with a hint of uncertainty. "I suspect that my mother is concealing something." Ethan felt a heavy weight settle in his chest. "What are you trying to convey, Emily?" Emily recounted her observations in the greenhouse. The intimacy of the moment, the way her mother and Daniel exchanged glances. Ethan's doubts were validated, and his fury erupted uncontrollably. As dusk settled, Ethan found himself face to face with Daniel in the garden. The moon loomed low in the sky, casting haunting shadows over the estate. "I know what you've been doing," Ethan growled, his voice quaking with fury. "Do you truly believe you can enter my sanctuary, lay your hands on my wife, and escape unscathed?" Daniel held his position, his jaw clenched in determination. "Sophia is worthy of so much more than a man who is perpetually absent from her life. Your immersion in your work has blinded you to the shadows of her discontent." Ethan lunged toward Daniel, and the two struggled briefly before Sophia intervened. Fists collided, and the meticulously tended flower beds were crushed beneath the tumult. Sophia, drawn by the ruckus, dashed outside and cried out for them to cease. "Ethan, please," she implored, positioning herself between them. "How could you do this, Sophia?" Ethan shouted, his face twisted in fury. "I poured my heart and soul into this, and this is the gratitude I receive in return?" Sophia's voice quivered, and tears cascaded down her cheeks. "You offered me the world, yet withheld your true self, Ethan. For years, I have walked this path of solitude, and you remained blissfully unaware." Ethan's fury briefly surrendered to anguish, yet before he could articulate his feelings, Emily emerged, her petite figure quaking as she witnessed the disintegration of her family. "Stop it!" Emily yelled, her voice trembling with emotion. "Your actions are causing chaos." In the midst of turmoil, an astonishing truth emerged. In a moment of desperation, Daniel revealed a truth that would alter the course of everything for Sophia. "I never intended to fall for Sophia," he confessed, his voice laden with remorse. "However, there is a crucial piece of information you must be aware of, Ethan. This goes beyond her alone. This narrative revolves around you." Ethan furrowed his brow, a look of bewilderment crossing his face. "What do you mean by that?" Daniel inhaled deeply. "Long ago, you shattered my family. Your company obliterated my father's business, leaving us with nothing in its wake. I have arrived to ensure you experience the very anguish you inflicted upon us. It was never intended for me to fall for Sophia." The atmosphere became heavy with anticipation as the reality settled in. Sophia gazed at Daniel, her disbelief palpable as her heart shattered once more. "Did any of it truly exist?" she inquired, her voice scarcely rising above a whisper. Daniel gazed at her, his eyes brimming with remorse. "Indeed, my affection for you, Sophia, is profound, yet the circumstances that led me to this moment remain unalterable." Sophia found herself poised between the two men, caught in the delicate balance of the life she once knew and the love that had unexpectedly blossomed. Emily's cries shattered the stillness, anchoring Sophia in the harsh truth of what lay ahead. "I can't do this anymore," Sophia declared, her voice resolute. "Though I have stumbled, I refuse to allow those missteps to shatter the bonds of our family." She faced Daniel, her cheeks glistening with tears. "My heart held a deep affection for you, yet our paths cannot intertwine. This isn't the way." Daniel nodded, his heart shattering into 1,000 pieces. "I comprehend." Sophia then shifted her gaze to Ethan. "I regret the betrayal, yet it is clear that we both played a part in allowing this to unfold. If you're willing to give it a shot, I'll stand by us in this battle. Yet, should you find it impossible to grant me forgiveness, I shall take my leave." Ethan's fury gradually faded, giving way to a profound weariness. He cast his gaze upon Sophia before shifting it to Emily, who nestled closely against her mother's side. "For her sake," he uttered, his voice laden with feeling, "we shall make an effort." That night, Daniel departed from the estate, vanishing into the shadows. Sophia and Ethan embarked on the arduous journey of reconstructing their marriage, seeking guidance through counseling and striving to piece together the fragments of their once harmonious relationship. Despite the scars left by the ordeal, Emily discovered comfort in the unwavering bond of her family. Sophia would forever hold the memory of Daniel close, a poignant echo of a love that was as enchanting as it was devastating. The garden, once a sanctuary of fervor and hidden truths, transformed into an emblem of flourishing and rebirth. While the marks of treachery may linger indefinitely, the Warrens resolved to look ahead, steadfast in their pursuit of tranquility in the wake of the tempest.